Welcome to episode number 31. I cannot believe how fast time is flying. I know we always say that, but shit, it really is.
It's blowing my mind that we are in the 30s. I still remember being like, this is episode 1, and we're like, yee, what do we do?
Tequila shot episode. I'll never forget it.
Oh my gosh, that's right. And at that point, it was me, you, Danielle, Garrett. It was like a whole crew. And
yeah.
If you're watching live, if you're not, I guess it's not live, but if you want to watch us and what we're doing, you can go to bigmoneystylistnow.com and actually watch video-wise, and you'll see that there's just 2 nuggets today. Mrs. Plunk and I. Danielle is off working inside the salon, and, well, Garrett hasn't been here for 10 years, so, there we go. But today is all about one topic. So every single week we go through certain topics, and it's power, production, profit, and protection. Last week you heard us talk about power and the power of being able to be vulnerable and how vulnerability is actually a strength, not a weakness, as some people talking may still some days think. But, I'm
I feel like that's directed towards actually both of us.
I'm like, nope, that one was directed at me. But, here's what I tell my students. I am a work in progress just like everyone else.
Yeah.
So, Val, today is all about production. What is production to you?
Production's doing the actual work.
And it's amazing because so many students come in, and I feel like we've seen this left and right, and they're like, woo! I feel like it's like a drug almost. They're like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to fucking wreck shit. I'm going to make so much money. I'm going to drop clients. And they just like get so amped, and then they leave, and they're like, oh, the program's not working. I'm like, are you?
Yeah.
They're like, well.
The program's working. The problem is you are not working.
Turns out that's a bit of an issue. And we've, at this point, have had so many of our artists come forward and go through the program, and they've produced such high results. You can't really come at us anymore and say it doesn't work.
Yeah.
We had one artist who started 8 months ago inside of Mastermind. 8 months ago, she was making about $7,000 a month. Now she brings in like 45,000 and takes home like 36,000.
That is insane.
In 8 months. These are just results. But I mean, given Michaela, our artist, she's a hustler.
Totally.
She just fucking works. So when our students come to any of our classes, whether it's BMS Con or BMS Intensive, which are our smaller classes, we actually go and they join our mastermind program, it's our continuing education.
Yeah.
And it's literally they get daily, weekly training on NBR, inside BMS, marketing, system strategies. It's ads, literally everything. It's never ending, which you know how much I love it. For me, it's super fun. So inside of that, we actually started something called the 30-day sprint. And the reason we started it is because, we've come to realize now that what we do is not only not normal, it's not always the easiest to do.
It isn't.
And especially with because we always laugh out that you're a super artist and I'm very opposite side. I'm very strategic and systematized, which by the way, when you get to headquarters, go look at the board in the kitchen. It multiplied.
Oh God.
It's really multiplying
it's
little.
Give me a panic attack.
It's multiplying like baby rabbits. All of a sudden, Colin, our COO, walked in yesterday and he was like, oh. I'm like, yes. But look at this. It's beautiful.
I just like to know the night before. I'm like, what's going on tomorrow? Oh, a lot. Okay, cool. I'll be there.
In that case, avoid the kitchen where I have written out literally evolution per evolution for all of our intensives.
I literally, if you're watching this on the screen, I walk in because the right side of it has all of our schedule and the fridge is in the back, and I'll go like this and just go straight to the fridge, grab my water, and walk out. I'm like, I can't. I'll get overwhelmed. I got to stay in my zone of what I'm doing today.
Oh, shit. Then also you might want to avoid my office where I
shut the door. If you're not there, I shut the door to your office. I'm like, that overwhelms me.
The reason being, I have what would probably be, if I'm 5 feet tall, this calendar has to be 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
And it's literally every month for the year. I have it color coded per events, and I literally everything. Colin was in there, our CEO was in there yesterday, and he was just like, wow. I'm like, yeah, but look, pre-training starts here. This is this is that. He's like, what the fuck? But I think it's fun. So, but we've learned so for me, I find not that BMS is easy. It's still a lot of work, but for me, I was always more super gung-ho about it because I love that systems and strategies. While for you, you've been
Yeah.
So talk about that artist-wise, why it's sometimes so hard to come into Mastermind when there's so much.
Because you're not used to that. This class, our BMS class, is so different. And the reason why we have Mastermind is because you come and you have these 2 days and you feel like you're enlightened and you're on fire. And then if you go home and you don't have that support system, you kind of lose that momentum. And not only do you lose the momentum, but you're losing wait, what the hell am I supposed to do again? Because for most artists, myself included, it's so foreign what we do. And like my brain doesn't naturally go in the direction that like we teach things. The NBR and the color and all of that, that's so natural to me. But like the actual business side is so different. So that's why we have the mastermind to like continue to keep you on track, to hold you accountable, and to keep that fire lit under your ass. But it's good for like artists like us because we're just, I don't know, for me, I'm always like, wait, what? Like I have the attention span of a gnat and I just want to like, I don't know, I just want to do pretty hair and like be like, you know, easy breezy. And like, it's not going to get me, and that got me like far enough, but I wanted to go to the next level. So for the next level, I had to do something different, which is what we're teaching at BMS. But like, you are so good at that. So you have it like systematized and you're teaching the students that way. And so it's just a really awesome way to hold you accountable, and everything's like organized for you. So if you start to like slide off, you know where to come back and how to keep propelling yourself forward so you can continue your growth.
And we now have what we call the 30-day sprint. And inside of that, it's actually 5 weeks. It's not even 30 days. There's like 1 week of like pre-30-day sprint pre-training.
and then the real thing.
And then the actual 30-day sprint, which I have loved it. And we only make the new students do it, but I completely revamped it. Like I redid everything top to bottom.
Yeah.
And inside of that, I made the whole network do it. So all like 265 artists were doing stuff every day. And I realized this was something super desperately needed because we were not dumping people into the network, but the artists were coming in and they'd be like, wait, what do I do? What do I watch? What am I supposed to, wait, what? And then the overwhelm mode hit so hard. And when that hits artists, I realized they feel like failures.
Yeah.
Like it literally doesn't matter how much
you retreat and you go back to your old ways. Like, I'm not doing this. I'm not made for this. Like, I'm not cut out for it. Like, no, it's not for me. And you either retreat and then you're not growing that way, or you blame the system and you're like, this doesn't work.
I should bring up a fun message I got inside the network this morning. A girl messaged me and she's like, I would like to leave Mastermind. I'm like, okay, why is that? And she's like, it's just not what I thought it was. And I was like, oh, well, what is not like living up to your standard right now inside Mastermind? Because it's just legit, guys. And she's like, I don't need another like support system. I'm like, fascinating you should say that. And even the Warriors today was like, she should maybe rethink what a support system is because Mastermind is way more than that. I'm like, I'm aware.
But also, you are going to need a support system when you pop a baldy on your first NBR client. Because right now you're feeling confident. You're going to go do a client. You're going to pop a baldy. You're going to be stressed the fuck out because your client's going to talk about suing you. And you're going to be like, oh, I wish I wouldn't have quit Mastermind because I really could use some advice right now.
Do you know what's also so interesting to me? The amount of applications. So, guys, fun fact. Oh, my gosh, I can't believe we didn't even talk about this yet. BMS Con number 3 is sold out.
How did that happen so freaking fast?
We sold 300 tickets in 12 days.
That's insane.
12 fucking days. And I would like to say this was with...
So, it was actually a 2-week span. In 1 week, we sold out freaking all the rest of the intensives, and then the following week we sold out BMS Con for 300 people.
So it's been 3 weeks then, because it was literally 12 days. Well, no, yeah, I guess it is a 2-week span. Yeah. Oh my gosh. So in 2 weeks, we sold out 3 BMS intensives and BMS convention. It's been insane.
Yeah.
And the crazy part is BMS Con got sold out with no ads, no marketing, literally nothing. It was just pure word of mouth and people who'd already applied to our classes that we couldn't get in.
Yeah.
But the interesting part to me is, because fun fact, like I've said before, I go through and I read every single application, and people, they're like, I would like to know why I was declined. I'm like, did you read your garbage ass application? Like, not to be a dick, but you gave me X's. You didn't even answer the question. So many people who went to BMS Con 2 reapplied, and they said, I made a mistake. I should have joined Mastermind. Now I want in. And I'm like, cool. Well, to get in, the only way into Mastermind is through BMS Intensive or BMS Con. The only way into BMS Intensive, which are small 20 people classes, is through BMS Con. There's only one entry point at this point because there's so many people.
Right.
And I thought that was so cool to see that they were like kind of fucked up. So the girl who's like, I don't need another support system. I'm like, ooh, homie, you don't even know what you're getting yourself into.
Know. Honestly, that is how Mastermind was created, is because we would teach the class and then we would let the students go home, and they needed so much more support. And then Mastermind has evolved since then, because not only do you need the support, you actually do need that. So that's an extremely rude comment, but whatever. Now we've like leveled up the game every single month. We're like, okay, now that we know we need to do this, because it can't just be a support system, which we are a support system, but there's so much more involved with it to keep you pushing forward, so that the people who have been with us since the very beginning, like you and Shayna and all of that,
Kenzie, yeah.
That you guys still are finding value from it. So whether you're brand new or have been here for years, like, we still are wanting to provide value for everyone.
And so with that, the sprint started. And inside of that, for the 4 weeks, excluding the pre-training week, we go through a topic very similar to how we do the podcast, power, production, profit, protection. But inside of that, we also incorporated the core 4, which is body, being, balance, business. So the very first week was all about power, but power inside of your body. So talk about like power and body and why you have to be like healthy and you can't be fucking falling apart.
I mean, this one's a hard one for me. As much as power is my least favorite topic when we talk on this, because it's hard, because to me, power and like confidence, all of that. Body is like the one that I always like let slide. Ulcers.
You mean your diet of air isn't working for you? Interesting, Val.
I just take you know how it is. You just take care of everyone else and put yourself last. But these past like couple months, I've really like made the time to get back into like eating super healthy and doing my green drinks and working out at least 5 days a week. And I could notice a huge, huge difference. Even when we went on vacation last week, I woke up early every day and I took a yoga class.
Oh, shit. Good for you,
yeah,
man.
the whole time. And I ate healthy on vacation. I did not drink healthy. But that's what we call balance. So we'll get into that in a little bit. But yeah, and it's so important because it helps like your mind. It just has like such a trickle effect. But you can't be like working yourself and doing all these things for other people and like your business and all of this and have a body that's falling apart. And obviously it plays like a huge role in your mind. And if you're just like falling apart, you can't do anything else. So it's like the foundation of everything else.
And not only that, because I notice I'm the first one to be like, oh, dear God, I don't want to work out. I do.
I don't want to ever. But
no.
I mean, it's kind of like sex. You're never like afterwards like, I wish I would have done that.
Well, depends on how many mistakes you're making in your current life. I'm not sure about that one. But
that wasn't my best decision, but you know. But that's like working out. Like I'm never like in the mood to work out. But after I'm done, I'm like, yeah, good job. I'm glad I did that.
And it's true. And some fucking shit, man. And it's doing the things that you don't always want to do. And that's so hard. And what I was talking about with our artists is like, it's so important to take care of your body because not only that, like it does play, like you said, a huge role in like your mentality too. Because it's one of those things like, okay, women, when you're on your period and you're bloated as fuck, you automatically don't feel pretty. You feel slightly like, just not like frumpy, but you're just like, oh, I don't want to put on my high-waisted skinny jeans. Where's my boyfriend jeans? Like everything.
I would explain the flowy skirt today.
I came to work in a bikini, so you got nothing from me, man. Just kidding. I am wearing an actual shirt, but it's fine. But even then, like it fucks with you. Like it messes you up if you don't. And same with like the hair. And that's why a lot of clients come to us because they just don't feel good without their hair. Like my hair's not shitty on its own, but I feel better with it.
Yeah.
And so that's what I was telling my artists. I'm like, not only that, if you're able to actually take care of your body and you're having your green drink, you're eating healthy. I moved to California 9 months ago and I stopped drinking soda and I stopped eating fast food. Although yesterday I had a moment, I'm like, ooh, you know what I want? Those shitty ass Taco Bell tacos. I'm like, oh, that grease. And Morgan was like, holy shit, maybe not. How about we do Taco Tuesday at El Ranchito? I'm like, I'll do that. Okay. So it was actually very good. But even inside of that, like if you're not keeping up with your body and keeping yourself healthy, then you're tired all the time.
Yeah.
And we don't have a job. I think people see hairstyles and they're like, oh, it's so fun. It's so easy. But motherfucker, we're standing for 12 hours straight. And not only are we standing for 12 hours straight, we're constantly moving for those 12 hours. And we're having to hold conversation and space and energy and everything else. Like, it's not the easiest of jobs that we have.
Yeah. I know most people work out in the morning, and I just can't. I wake up already early enough, and
oh dear God, yeah.
It's just I can't. So I work out at night, and I really have noticed that I like it to like release. It's like how I release all that I took in throughout the day. So, and most people are like, oh, I like to start off my day with like working out. And I'm like, well, it's okay. You can work out at night too if you don't have time in the morning. And it's for me, like as a hairstylist, you take on so much. And like with our BMS, you know, there's like some heavy stuff. So it's nice to go home. And that is my way to like release everything so that I'm not bringing it to like the kids or Ryan or anything like that. So
I feel like maybe I should try that then when I get home from BMS, like that. Maybe that should be like the first thing I do is actually start working out. Because for me, it's like sporadic. Sometimes I do it in the morning. Sometimes it's when I get home. Sometimes I'm like, I'm not doing anything. And then it's 11 o'clock and I'm like, you're a fucking dick. You should probably just work out. Like it's for me, I'll admit that is something I super struggle with. And on top of that, it's hard for me. I'm 5'1". I'm not even 100 pounds. Same. So it's hard for me to always be like, I should work out. But then I have to tell myself it's not about looking good. It's not about the number on the scale. It's about how I feel. feel.
Right.
I feel better when I work out.
Yeah.
That's why I love when we have our BMS intensive weeks, all these stairs. I'm like, oh, I'm getting that ass. I'm loving these stairs. Everyone's like, this is the worst. I'm dying.
It's so funny when I bring them up the first time, you know, when you're in the room and I'm like hearing everyone panting. I'm like, oh, get ready, guys. You're about to go up and down these stairs like 100 times.
I'm now starting to put it in the emails that I send out. Do not wear high heels for the love of God. Wear comfortable shoes. Wear Chucks. Wear Vans.
We don't got time for you wobbling up and down the stairs.
It is, and especially when they wear like really tall heels. I'm like, what in the hell?
8 flights of stairs to get to where our BMS room is, and we don't take the elevator. We make everyone do like walk and talks, and we go up and down the stairs, and it's good. It keeps like the energy like going, and I love it as well. But it's funny because the students aren't ready for that.
They never are, but it's fun. So inside of the 30-day sprint, they went through and had to create like a calendar. And it's funny, I was actually worried about like the OGs of Mastermind who'd been there for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was getting message after message after message from them of them telling me how much they were loving it.
Yeah.
Because they were like, I'm getting so much more clarity that I feel like, not that they get complacent or they're like, whatever. But when you've been in the game for so long, sometimes you're like, yeah, I know what's happening. And this really made them go back and really like look at their life, to where some of the videos they posted, they were like in tears. They were like, I didn't realize my life was such a shit show. I'm like, not your life, just your body. Welcome to mine. It's cool, guys. So inside of that, the second topic we go over is production. And inside of Core 4, it's business, because that is the most work that they are going to find, because that's the hardest thing for all artists, is to really get down to like the nitty gritty and talk numbers.
Yeah.
You have not always been a fan of numbers.
I have not.
Why is that?
I even when we went to dinner last night and the bill came, we were trying to split it, and I just like looked at it, and Annie's looking at me like, are you overwhelmed by the numbers? And I'm like, I don't even know why I'm pretending to like add this up in my head. Like, as soon as I see numbers, I freaking check out. So.
Well, and it was funny because I'm like, oh, okay, yours is 22. She's like, here's 40. The 22 included her tip. I'm like, why are you giving me 40? She's like, well, I don't know. I'm like, are you giving him a 200% tip? I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, I don't know. I'm like, what?
I hate numbers.
I'm like, I literally took her 20 out and threw it back at her like a cheap whore. Here you go, Val. But I gave it back. I'm like, why are you? She's like, I don't know. I'm like, you're fucking dumb. Take your 20. I'm gonna take this one. But it's so like that. And our artists like had to get super clear on not only their numbers and what they wanted to like project and where they wanted to go, but also like what was really fucking them up inside business.
Yeah.
Because the biggest, we've learned time and time again, what messes you up the most is not actually the business. Sometimes it's your personal life.
Yeah.
And that's the worst. Which brings us to topic number 3, which was profit. Now, we've talked about this a lot, and everyone, the minute they hear profit, I know the very first thing they think is money.
Yeah.
Everything's about money to everyone, but we've learned, no.
Yeah.
That is, you can produce and produce and produce, and we've seen this with our artists inside the network, that they get to a point where they're making a shit ton of money. Like, it is a lot. I mean, some of our artists are making $600,000 a year. That's insane. And I'm talking take home, not like before they have to take out taxes and shit. And that's insane. So even inside of that, we've come to see that when it comes to balance, they make a ton of money, but then some of them, they have no balance. Like, they have the profit, great, they made a shit ton of money, but their life is still a shit show.
Yeah.
So talk about like what you've seen inside of the network with people like producing, but then realizing like, this is not enough anymore.
I feel like you're always like tipping the scale. So like you're wanting to like work and do all this and like make the profit, but then as you're doing that, your like balance is going out of whack, and you're not having time for you're not having time for your spouse, you're not having time for your kids or whatever it is. And then you have to like reel yourself back in, like, okay, is this worth it? And then you have to start like putting up your boundaries and getting that balance back again, and then going from there. But I feel like it's this constant like tipping scales thing, where it's rarely are you like in that sweet spot, and very, very rarely you're just like constantly going like this. So the money is what draws you in the first place, and it's amazing when you get it. And to me, like money, I do have more freedom since I've made more money to be able to do things. But at the end of the day, I have to have that, like, for me, profit is family time, and I like quality time. So that is my true profit. Yeah. Way more so than the money.
For sure. And so that's why when the assignment came for profit and balance, I mean, I was geeking out over this one for like 3 weeks.
So cool.
I was sitting there and I was saying that I basically, do you guys know that old school, like old timey, like not West Side Story, but like from the West, like villain where he has a big handlebar mustache and he stands in the back and he's like, he, and like taps his fingers. I told everyone, I'm like, that's how I feel coming up to this assignment. I told all of my artists that they actually had to go through and cancel their entire Saturday. And oh, girl, was there tears. There was
Yeah.
a lot of crying, a lot of tears, reaching out to the network. And some girls were straight up like, Ani, I respect the assignment. I'm not doing it only because my boyfriend, my husband, and I, we already have that Monday, Tuesday are our days off. I'm like, great. Like, I hear you. In that case, don't cancel your Saturday. Like, if you have designated days off with your family, you fucking stick to that because that's what I want for them. And so I told them for that Saturday, their plan was to either make, like, if they're married and have kids, or even if they, like, make a day with them. And even if they are married and what they really need is time away from their crazy children, make a you day, like whatever it is it looks like to them, just to gain space and have some kind of balance where they're not answering client emails, they're not answering texts, they're not answering phone calls. I'm like, this shit, it's off. Like, your social media's off for the day, like off, gone, done. And so many of them did it. And the coolest thing I think I ever saw was that Sunday, they started texting me and like going back on Instagram and like tagging me and stuff. And they were like, thank you, Ani, for this day. Thank you for this. I needed this. I didn't realize how much I needed this. I didn't realize how much I missed my kids, my husband, my family. I didn't realize like how alone they were without me. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And that, like, hearing that had me to tears. And then, of course, they come and they round right back on me, those little fuckers. And all of a sudden, they're like, what did you do this weekend, Ani? I'm like,
Burn.
you guys got me because I worked Saturday and Sunday. So I was like, I worked. And they're like, you're supposed to be taking off a day for balance. I'm like, no, you're supposed to be taking off a day for balance. Get off my ass. So they'll be glad to know now that I am taking like a week off or like 5 days, which that balance, it's my super struggle. Like, it's really hard for me. And I think it's really hard for a lot of our artists because that's like the one thing that makes, I know even I feel guilty. Like, yes, I'm sitting here, I'm recording the podcast, we're doing NBR training after this, and I'm not actually staying for the live training, which is the first time in 9 months that I've done that. So I'm already like, oh God, oh, I'm not going to be here. It's a little hard for me. Not that I think you don't have it.
I told you we're opening with a dance number, so I clearly have it.
I don't want to talk about this anymore. She keeps telling me, like, I am such a like systematized person. I'm like, okay, this is how we're gonna do it, da 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 da. And I'm like, all right, what's happening? She's like, dance. I'm like, I'm canceling my vacation. I'm not going on a trip. What the fuck do you mean you're starting off with a fucking dance number? Like,
it's a good one.
But I just know, like, for me, if I have the guilt of stepping away, and especially because the network right now is 265 artists, we have 300 new coming in November. We have another 60 new coming in 2 months. I'm like, oh my God, that's 500. We are rolling almost 600 some people, or 625. That's a lot of people that I see my plate and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have a lot of little dots on this plate. That's a lot of people that I'm accountable for. So even stepping away from me is like, this is not easy.
Yeah.
I've been sweating about it, honestly, all morning long.
I think for people with your personality, it's even more difficult because, like, I'm not even thinking about convention. Like, I'm literally only thinking about the training because that's what's next. I'm at the podcast and the training. Like, I don't even know what the hell is happening tomorrow, let alone that I'm worried about November and the people signing up.
Okay, never mind then.
So, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, for you, like, the balance is so hard because you're always not just, like, currently maintaining and structured with where you currently are at. You have shit mapped out till November, December. You know what's happening next year.
Yes, I do. Fun fact, I'm already getting the schedule set for next year's intensives. No pressure, Coach Val. You won't know about it.
Just tell me when I got to be there. I'll roll up. Hey, guys.
We're doing a class today? Got it. Yeah, and it's true, but I'm already projecting for next year, for 2019, because I sat down with Jeff and one of the warriors that we work closely with, and I'm like, okay, if this is what it looks like now, but this is where we're headed, this is how many we're going to have in the network by the end of the year, this is how many classes we want next year. If we sell this amount, then and this amount go into this, and if we need this many classes, like this many people from BMS Con to sell this many classes, like I already.
But you can't live like that, and you're realizing that now, and that's
we 9 months.
And we have to live what we teach, and like that's what Ani and I are always saying. Like, we're a work in progress. So what we're teaching the students, we're teaching ourselves at the same time. Like, so you can't maintain at this speed, and that's why you have to have the balance. And like, you're seeing it for yourself and the effects of not doing it. So you have to take this time off. You know, it's necessary. So I think it's cool. Like, what we teach, we're like holding ourselves accountable. We get off track a lot.
Yeah.
And we're like, well, we're teaching it, but we're not really living it. But that's okay because we're changing lives. But then we have to, like, when we're having, meltdowns and shit, we have to be like, okay, this is what we're doing. We got to, because we know it works. So we know
100% works.
So we know, like, when we get off course, we got to get back on course to these core principles.
Yeah. And I think what's really cool is I did tell the students, I'm like, guys, just so you know, like I'm going MIA. Like I had to like deactivate the function in my car that like it keeps popping up and it's like, you have a message from Val. Would you like me to read it to you? I'm like, no.
It's going to have curse words. Don't.
I'm kidding for you. I'm like, yes, that'll be funny for sure. But it like pops up. I had to like deactivate it. I couldn't figure out how to do that for a minute. And to literally have time to like take space away because I know that is my weakest topic by far, which saying I have something weaker than body is, you guys should understand how that's really a weak point for me there. But balance, I have literally zero. I'm the first to admit I have no balance anywhere inside of my life. Me and BMS are tight, but other than that, I'm like, what life is that? So I'm just super glad that like the artists really went forward inside of profit and balance. Do you know that a lot of them canceled their Saturdays for the entire year?
Oh, I didn't know that. But I loved watching everyone's videos when they came back because so many moms were like on there and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm having like the first day like with my kid in forever. And then like one girl, her little boy was like running around in his like his little board shorts and they were getting ready to go like to the pool. And I was like, oh my gosh, so much fun. And he was like so excited, you can tell. And she was smiling like ear to ear. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is awesome.
And that's what I love. Like it was just so cool that not only did some of them like do the assignment, but some even took it like a step further. And I love that because that's what everything is about, you know, like, yes, take what we're teaching you, but also make it your own.
Yeah.
That's why the ones who are like, Ani, respect, but I'm not going to cancel Saturday because I already have Monday, Tuesday off every week. I'm like, totally get it.
Yeah.
That's all I want for you.
It's not the day of the week that's important. It's that you have scheduled time off. And what happens with that is then like you come back, let's say you did take, like if Saturday and Sunday are your designated days, and which aren't normally for hairstylists, but let's say that's it. You come back Monday, like recharged, your love tank is full, like you just are like ready to take on the week more productively because you did have that space to like recharge. If you're not recharging, you are not gonna, like you will burn out so much faster. So the point of BMS is to keep you like at a pace that you can maintain because the worst thing is stopping, quitting, and then restarting. Same thing with like working out. It's the same thing with your business. And we're trying to prevent that. So we want you along the way as we're working and teaching you all these new things that you are having that balance so that you can maintain this lifestyle so that you can keep growing forward.
And the way I view it is our phones. I mean, yours is notoriously dead basically all the time. Like everybody knows that. But at night, most of us, like I plug my phone in every single night to make sure it gets fully charged, good to go the next morning. But I've realized like there's sometimes during the day, instead of me being like, my phone needs a break, I should just plug it in and let it charge. I'll let it charge for 15 minutes and then drain the battery again. Let it charge for 15 minutes, drain the battery. And it never gets fully charged. And I feel like that's how we are as humans.
Yeah.
When you're honestly doing what I'm doing right now, you're never fully charged.
Right.
Like you make it like to the halfway point. Then you're like, okay, I'm feeling kind of good. I'm at 50%, but I really got a lot of shit to do. 40, 30, 20, 15, 10.
Yeah.
And then I'm like fucking dead. And then instead of taking a whole day to like fully recharge and be good to go, I'm like, I'm back at 50%. Like, and that's what I'm realizing now. Like, okay, that's
the
not.
low battery signs off.
It's like, are those tears in Ani's eyes? Oh shit. Low battery, guys. Quick, someone give her some chocolate. She'll be all right. It'll get her right back to 10%, right where we need her. Don't worry. It's dark and funny all at the same time. But it's true. And that's what I was so just fucking stoked with balance to see all of our artists like going forward and getting that time. So then the very last one itself was protection. And that's all, of course, like in the podcast, it's always like the super fun one because not that we get to talk shit, but I'm like, I'm fucking watching everything. But inside of protection for them, I took it more to being, which is meditating, it's journaling, it's really focusing more so on you and your mentality and your mindset. Because if that gets jacked and that's fucked up, like if you can't be on point, it's hard for you to focus on anything and continue forward.
Yeah.
Like we've seen so many times, like a lot of things happen in our artists' lives, whether it's marriages, it's children, it's breakups, it's anything like that. Anything that mentally or emotionally can throw you off. If you can't find a way to like reel yourself back in and handle it, you can't move forward.
Yeah.
And that is bad. So like what have you seen like inside of like your life or like even the network inside of mindset and them having to like learn to like reel it in and not get so stuck in like panic?
Yeah. I feel like meditation is like the main thing that's going on in the network. Like all of them have like done that Calm app and they start out at like 3 minutes and they've like worked up, I think 20 minutes is like the main goal. But I still don't meditate. I speak to universe and I get stuff out that way. And then I just like, I do have to check myself like when I start getting those like negative thoughts, like, okay, I don't got time for this, and like reel myself like back in that way. I've done acupuncture. I do like that. I've not done the float tank.
I do like the float tank.
I haven't done it.
And I think it's because it's borderline like sensory deprivation because I leave it music off, lights off, because if not, my brain is like, wah, like it literally does not slow down. And that's it's not great for me.
I honestly, even when I'm like cooking dinner or like when I'm doing like board games and stuff with the kids, like that is to me like my form of meditation because like it's just like slow paced and like, you know, I used to be so frustrated, and this will make me sound like a shitty mom, but I used to be so frustrated playing like board games. I'm like, why are we moving so slow? Like,
oh my God, that might still be me. I'm like, it's Jenga, it's your turn.
I know, I'm like, hurry up and guess, Sawyer, it's guess who? Take a guess. Shot in the dark, anything.
There's 2 more people left.
Or like Lennox counting like this face. So it used to just be like so boring and slow. But I had to like reframe it, and I'm like, this is quality time. They're so happy, and then I just have to like enjoy the downtime. Like I never want to be that mom like rushing them, like hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Because I mean that honestly isn't my personality at the core, but because I have so much to do, I'm now implementing that on the kids. Like I don't want to do that. So doing like board games and cooking dinner is kind of like my meditation because it's slow paced, and I actually want to be present during that time and like enjoy it and not be like rushing through it.
And for me, I started meditating at the beginning of the year. And at first I was like, this is fucking dumb. But now I actually love it. And it's so funny because I've been told, because I hate guided meditation because for me, I'm just like, dear God, shut up. Like it's irritating the hell out of me. I don't listen to music. I just like silence. And Garrett, he's like, Ani, do you realize that you're doing it the hardest way? I'm like, welcome to my life. I like to do everything the hard way. What do you want from me? But that has super helped me. And then I've done like the stack before, like inside like the Warriors way. And I like it, which by the way, they came out with a happy stack now. So when you're not actually pissed off about something, you just want to be like grateful and happy, you do a happy stack.
Oh,
which I'm super,
I love that.
I'm geeked about it. So fun fact, for intensive, we're going to be teaching stack, happy stack, and baby stack.
Oh.
It's the baby. So I'm super excited.
Is there a baby happy stack? Because that one sounds like it'd be my favorite.
You're like, I would like the weenie baby happy stack, please. But it's that, and those are good, but I feel like there were so many times where I didn't have like enough emotion. I've been called an ice queen, a weeping statue, or just a statue, or heartless monster. I've been called many things recently.
Oh, those are all very sweet.
Everyone loves me, obviously. But even inside of that, like I just don't have enough to throw into a stack, and I'm not gonna like fake shit. So I started journaling. Oh my God, it's been so therapeutic.
Yeah.
Because knowing like you can write down whatever, you can be not the shittiest version of you, but if you want to say something because it's how you truly feel, you just fucking write it down, knowing no one's gonna read this. It's my own private journal. Like I don't take it to work and leave it on my desk like to tempt anyone. Like no, that shit stays hidden in my house in a private drawer because it just like it works. And so that for me, that's super helped me like just get back on track when shit's been going gnarly or I'm feeling like exhausted or when, because we work with so many people like inside the network and like here with Warrior and then BMS and DDKW, like there's just so many people all around, which is a lot of energy, and you and I soak that in.
I know.
So just to like be able to get rid of it, like journaling's been my favorite.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and I actually had one of our students, Mackenzie, do it because she went through like a gnarly breakup that I didn't know until she like told me and was like, shit, and I was like, I'll get you, homie, I got it. And I was like, here's what I did to help me, and we ended up FaceTiming for like an hour talking about all of this. And then she went, I said, I want you to journal. I'm like, you super feel for people too. Like you're the same kind of person. So I want you to journal, and journal if your hand hurts, like, cause there have been times where I journal for so long my hand hurts, I have to like take a break and then come back to it. Dang. I have a lot to say as it turns out. So, but she ended up doing that. And by the end, she's like, oh my God, like this helped me so much. I was able to like really like see things and like put my feelings out and not keep like burying it deeper and deeper. I'm like, yeah, it's just not healthy.
Yeah.
I'm preaching to the choir right now, but I'm aware it's not healthy. So I'm just super geeked out. Like I love how the 30-day sprint went for all of our artists, and I think they got so much out of it. And it's crazy because so Sunday is actually the very last day, last assignment. And from there, it's like normal mastermind, like the live trainings, the podcast, the NBR trainings, the feedback, like daily stuff. It's no more like massive assignments for, a while. I mean, I'll throw things at them for sure, but I'm just geeked. I think it turned out super well inside of the sprint.
I do too.
So
I've heard nothing but positive things about it. So,
I heard some people, they were like, this is so stressful. I'm like, okay, well,
life.
Yeah. One of our girls actually ended up getting pneumonia, not because of my 30-day sprint, guys, but she just
to clear that up.
She just got pneumonia, and then she messaged me. She's like, I'm so upset. I've missed assignments. What do I do? And I'm like, you have two options. One, go back. Go back, do them on your own time. They're like 30-day sprint's almost over. Not a big deal. I would encourage you to do them. It'll still help you get clear on where you're going, which was the entire point of the sprint anyway.
Yes.
Or I'm like, you just start here and today. We're on the very last one. It's protection and being, like, not a big deal. You can always go back. I'm like, this isn't anything detrimental. You didn't fail in life. You had fucking pneumonia. You're in the hospital, homie. I think you're okay. Like, don't worry. So, all right. So what do you have to say to everyone listening in regards to like the core 4 and like power production, profit protection, and just kind of taking care of themselves?
Yeah, you have to take care of yourself so that you can have longevity in like growing. Like growth is ever evolving. And so there's not one way to do it. So meditation might not be your thing and journaling might. Yoga might be your workout thing or CrossFit. There's so many different ways to get like, you're like CrossFit.
Oh my God.
Obviously neither one of us
I'm
are
like,
CrossFit
don't look at me
people.
when you say CrossFit. I cannot commit to that. Have you seen how aggressive that is?
But there's just so many different ways. So if something's not working for you, try something out. And there will be something out there that will help you to gain that balance. And you have to have that balance so that you can keep growing and moving forward. Otherwise, you're going to burn out and you're not going to have success. And we want you to be successful. So figure out where you're missing that stuff in life and try and fix it. What is it that you're missing? What is it that you're lacking? And what can you do about it? Because I guarantee you can do something about it. And when you do something about it, you will get different results. Once you start getting those different results, you'll be addicted and then you'll just want to keep moving forward, which is the point.
Absolutely. And inside of the core 4, guys, it's body, being, balance, and business. What you need to remember, one is not more important than the other. There's not one that you can let slide and slack. Like you can't do really great beadwork on NBR and do garbage fucking stitching and it still be like quality.
Yeah.
You can't let your body be falling apart, but you're making a shit ton of money and that be a quality life. You have to remember across the core 4, these are things that you need to put focus into each and every one. And when you find balance across those 4, you 100% will find balance inside of your life. So what I encourage you to do is pull out a journal, or my favorite place to journal, fun fact, computer paper, because it's empty and white and I can do whatever I want. There's no lines. None of my journals have lines. I can't commit to that. That's let me write how I want, man. So weirdly enough. But I encourage you to get out a piece of paper, even if it's literally just computer paper, write down the 4, body, being, balance, and business, and take a look at it like truly deeply. Like where are you slacking inside any of those? What are you actually missing? What could be better to give you a more overall balance inside of your life? And on that note, we're coming to the end of the podcast. I'm like, why can't these go for 10 years? I love them. So yeah, join us next week, guys, where we will be going over profit, which is always a fun one too.
Woo-woo.
So see you guys next week.